Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you like this kind of stuff, or any of this stuff, hit like and subscribe. It helps me keep doing things like this. So, today's quick discussion, I'm trying to keep this 10 minutes or less, is will be the battle of my little carry guns. So, I'm going to go through a couple things here. I typically carry one of these, a Smith & Wesson J-frame. 5-shot 38 stubby with an extra 6 rounds on a stripper clip in my pocket, or strip clip, whatever, speed strip. And then I'll carry if I carry something like this, I haven't carried it yet, and then, spare mag in the pocket, which isn't that much more space in my pocket. So, first things first, I did change the grips on this. This gun is only got a loaded magazine, nothing in the chamber. I already did my safety checks before. And we're gonna put the hammer down, so even if it was loaded, trigger don't do nothing on a single action pistol when the hammer's down. I did go through different grips. If you remember from my initial video, I like the look of the Kimber grips, but they weren't that comfortable and didn't give all that much grip. And they had some sharp corners back here that were digging into my hand. And you really felt it. I think under recoil, especially snappy recoil from a 9mm plus P and a little gun, I would end up bleeding after a few magazines. It really was not comfortable. So I got I got two different sets of grips. I got these from Guns, G-U-U-U-N, I don't know, it's got a bunch of U's. They spell it kind of weird. But they make really nice G10 grips. And I was able to sand down and smooth and actually, kind of like round out some of those edges. So these actually felt good, but then I had also ordered the Hogue. And the Hogue looks very similar to that because that's what Smith & Wesson ships with. They don't have the Hogue logo, they put an S&W logo. I'm gonna keep this because on a small pistol, actually just so some of you guys don't get weird because it's a loaded magazine. So we have unloaded gun and an unloaded mag. I'm putting it on there to get the extra grip there. But with the rubber grip, it really does, for a gun that's gonna have some, fairly decent recoil, it's going to give me, it really lets you get a grasp on that. The rubber's nice without being abrasive. It does give you a little bit of palm swell right here to help fill your hand out. And then you got those finger grooves, which really just kind of lock your hand into that. Being that you can barely get your pinky on, it lets it fill my hand a little bit more without adding much in the way of bulk. It adds just a little bit. Obviously, these grips are going to be just a wee bit thicker at the base. You're adding about 3mm on each side. But for a small concealed carry gun, I mean, it's still the same width, actually probably a little bit narrower than the widest part on the revolver. So you're not really adding much. So let's talk about the battle between the carry guns here. I've been carrying the Smith J-frame just because it's small, it's light, it's reliable. I just throw it in a simple paddle holster and, off you go. It's been very, very good to carry. But then I saw this and I'm like, well, let's see, what's the real difference here? The size of the guns are pretty damn close. This one's a little bit taller. If it'll lay this on here. Barely. They're close to the same length. And this is actually a little bit thinner because you don't have the cylinder. So it does weigh a little bit more. How much more? We'll do it fully loaded, assuming... one thing I've noticed on these mags is that if you put 8 round, if you try to rack the slide with a full mag, it really drags. That spring is really putting pressure on there, and I was worried about it causing a misfire. So some guns, and it's not just this gun, some guns I've noticed over the years, it's like, 15 plus 1. But if you put the 15th round in there, that's fine. You rack a slide, now it's 14 plus 1. If you go and put another round back in the magazine, it's so much pressure against the bottom of the slide that it can actually affect it cycling properly. It's too much friction pushing that bullet up against the bottom of this. So on this does appear to be one of those guns. Now, will these magazine springs loosen over time? Maybe. But I am going to, again, hammer down, unloaded gun. We've already checked that. But what is the weight? Let's see what the weight difference is. Come on. Unloaded, 17.58 ounces. If I throw a loaded mag, we're now up to 22 3/4 ounces for 8 rounds, not including if I were to put one in the pipe, Doesn't change it by a whole lot. Let's just go with the capacity that the mag holds. Now, I've got 5 rounds. Want to weigh those with the gun. So we got 1 and 1 7/8. And then we've got 1 and 6 3/4. So what's that difference? 5 ounces and change, basically. So 5 ounces. So there is a little bit of a weight difference between the two. Now, I will say, they advertise on the website that this gun with an empty magazine weighs 15.6 ounces. Either my scale is way off by about a quarter pound, or it's not. I mean, this weighs, they say that this one weighs 14.6 without ammo. It's an ounce off. So my scale may be not quite accurate, but the discrepancy is only an ounce off here from what they claim. So I'm inclined to think it's fairly close. But on this one, you know, even without the magazine, you're not getting down to that weight that they're claiming. So Kimber's fibbing a little bit, I believe, on that. You throw in the weighted, the mag, now you're up to 19 and a little over 19.5 ounces, not 15.5. So it's about 4 ounces on this scale, which means if that one was accurate, you're off 3 ounces. The point is, though, the difference between the two is roughly 5. So it is a little bit heavier. However, here's some differences of why I think I'm going to switch over to this one. I've got a very similar Phobos holster. Clicks right in. I can adjust the tension. Nice and simple. Slip it on your belt, slip it off. When you look at the size of the guns, you've got 5 rounds of 38 plus P, 8 rounds, and if the springs loosen up over time, and I can get that 8 plus 1, but the way it is now, I'm getting 3 more rounds of 9mm plus P. And I'll just use empty mags for this. Let's say you're using it, you get to that 8th round, it's very simple to drop a mag, slap it, and go right back into action. That was an empty mag, so you know. But it's not much easier to do that. So while I am a fan of the revolver and I do like the reliability, I also like that if you're really up close, someone bum rushes you, we've already double checked, we're triple checking, you know, you can have that and you can push that up against someone, push them off. If someone gets too close, you don't have to worry about the slide cycling and getting clothing or something, or the person's shirt caught and out, won't go into battery and won't fire. A revolver is going to be a bit more forgiving up close for just up close and dirty work. However, you're typically going to be shooting double action. Your accuracy is going to suffer. You do have the single option, action option here, but, and also for this, you know, your bore axis is up quite high. And with 38 Special Plus P, this little thing kicks and it pops up a lot. So getting nice, fast, accurate shots, you know, if you're 5 feet from someone 6 feet, you're going to hit them, right? You'd have to be a complete muppet to completely miss your target. But having the single action with that super crisp trigger, I think is going to be a better carry gun. It's only a little bit heavier, but what you get is faster reloads, more power, a little bit longer sight radius, much better trigger. You do have a safety. You can carry it cocked and locked. What I do like about this is also you can do a press check. So if you wanted to just, you know, you're sitting here and you're like, hey, do I have a round in there? You can very quickly, even with the safety on, you can go ahead and check and do, yep, there's a round in there. Although there is a little cutout there, so you should see it. But if the lighting's not good and you just want to do a quick press check, you have that ability. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to switch. Oops, safety's on. I'm going to go ahead and switch to this guy. It really, when you throw in the mag, it's about the same size. And with these grips, man, it is just, your hand is locked in. This is so pointable. It's a mini 1911. They've kept the same grip angle. You got that high beaver tail safety. So the bore axis is much lower in relation to your hand. It's more in line with your wrist. So it's going to pop a bit. But I am going to go to actually, that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go break this in, make sure it's reliable and stuff before I start carrying it. And I'm going to do some drills. I'm going to do some double taps at 7 yards and at 3 yards and things like that. And I'm going to see which one shoots better. So not only is it reliable, but does this shoot as well as I think it will? It's very comfortable. Those grips, I think, are really going to help keep this thing secured in my hand and not have it moving or squirming around. It gives you just the right amount of grip, and your fingers just wrap in and kind of squish into that rubber, and that thing is just like stuck there. That's awesome. This one does too, but see how much skinnier it is here? It's just your hand, my hand kind of dwarfs it. There's a lot of extra leftover space. And that feels like it could move around a bit more. I am able to shoot this pretty accurately, but I think this is going to be my new go-to carry gun. Pick up extra power, pick up a few extra rounds per mag, and the ability, instead of having a stripper clip, which means you got to empty out, you need both hands for that. Then I got to put in 2 rounds, peel it, rotate it, put in the next 2 rounds. You can see I'm having to sit here fiddle with it. Under duress, trying to reload this thing, it's probably going to take you 20 seconds, minimal, to unload it and reload it, you know. Whereas I've got this, boom, comes out in, you know, you could do drills and get practice. The only thing I noticed with the micro guns is that, you know, to get the mag to pop free, being that my hands are big in relation to the size of the grip, it tends to hit my hand. So it's almost like you got to hold it out like that. That's the only thing. But even still, even if it only comes out part way, grab it, grab the mag, and go. You're ready to go. So anyway, I highly recommend these. Now, I'll see how they feel when I shoot, and I'm actually going to take an Allen wrench, and I'm going to take these and see how these shoot compared to this. But I think this is just, I think that's just going to stick in my hand better. I'm really looking forward to that. And then we'll do this versus this and see which one shoots better. I mean, I think we all know what the answer is going to be. But I don't know. Maybe the air weight will surprise me. We'll see. Maybe this thing's going to kick like a mule, you know, and I'm not going to like it for that. Although for a carry gun, I'm willing to put up with that, because I know that under the extreme stress of, oh my God, I'm having to defend my life, the recoil is not going to make a difference. You're not going to feel it. The only thing that makes a difference is if it's so much it takes you off target and it's more effort to get back on target. But we'll see. That's what the shooting range is gonna expose. Reliability. Does it shoot? Does it shoot well? Does it shoot straight? And how quickly can I get on target and keep it on target? So there you have it. I highly recommend these Hogues. I've used these on the full-size 1911s, and I typically end up taking them off because a 1911 is so big and so heavy and bulky that I tend to like the thinner grip panels. And because you can get your whole hand on there without, you know, doing that, I feel like these are really all you need. So you don't need the fingers, you don't need the extra width, you don't need it making all this extra bulk that prints. It's already a kind of a big enough, hard enough to conceal gun anyway. But when it's this small, that little bit extra, I don't mind it. My hand just squishes into that and fingers go right where they need to. It's indexed properly. It just lines you up for that. I think what's going to be a great shot and a great little shooter. So anyway, that's all we got for today. I was going to try to go for 10 minutes and I prattled on and I went over that. And for that, here at Dave's Man Cave, we apologize.